101 is not a place normally you'd want to be. That is, if you've read any Orwell. But if you haven't read any Orwell and you like to keep yourself blissfully ignorant, this is absolutely where you want to be. Or if you like cigars.
Felix Orwell?
Felix Orwell. That's right. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. This is the Room 101 Farce. This is the Connecticut Super Toro 6x56, which means it is 6 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 56, the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. So a 64 ring gauge would be a full 1 inch around. This is the, beyond the top of the mark. I like to be in the 48, 54. I like you, Fingers, like a Lancero in that 38. I love a Panatello in a 43. This is way bigger than I like to be. But we had promised ourselves we were trying more cigars, and we had some success with Room 101 and wanted to bring this in. The issue that I have, and I have not been able to find a sufficient answer online, it is FARCE. That's what it says right there. They do a beautiful job with the labels right there. This Connecticut wrapper is an Ecuadorian Connecticut, which is very, very light. It is very almost tea in its coloring, but still smooth. A little bit of oil in there with that purple and gold and red band, and they do a double band on here. I think it's beautifully done. FARCE, is that farce or is that farce, as you brought up? And you brought it up as a joke, or is it farce? And all of a sudden I have to say to myself, I don't know. I always thought it was farce.
I'm glad I completely ruined your mojo going into the show.
Oh, I'm upside down.
30 seconds before air, I was like, is it farce?
He's a help and a treat, by the way. Yeah. I don't know. I know that I haven't had a good Connecticut in a while. I go through these fits of finding Connecticut's and then finding nothing. For how I smoke and how my day works, my first cigar doesn't happen until about noon. And so that's not too late for a Connecticut. It's actually never too late for a Connecticut. All of those things like, oh, you got to have a Connecticut in the morning. You can't have it in the evening. It's all myth. So what do you like? You smoke that. But it would be nice to be able to engage with that and start the day with that. And I go through these fits where I'm like, this Connecticut is great. This Connecticut is wonderful. Then I run out and then I forget to order or I forget to go buy. And the next thing you know, I'm like, I need a Connecticut and I don't know what to get. So I'm hoping that this could fill a place, an empty void in my soul, perhaps.
Really? We're going that deep? We're worried about the voids in your soul.
Some of us really care about cigars, and some of us are named Fingers Malloy.
That's true.
Fingers, you started smoking this thing right here. Now, it's Dominican in its origin, right? So it's the Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper, and it is Dominican and Nicaraguan in the binder and filler. Where are you as you've started smoking this cigar?
Well, I have a question for you before we get into the flavor profile. Do you find it a tad bit lighter than you were expecting in the hand?
So I love that they call this a Super Toro, 6x56. Or I should say 6x56, making it Super Toro as something like a 52 ring gauge. Maybe it's a little bit lighter. I don't think it's fly off the handle. I don't think it's a wiffle ball bat.
No.
As we call something that's way too light, a wiffle ball bat. But this is not beefy. This is not necessarily a hefty smoke.
No.
Is that your argument?
That would be my argument, but I just did 3 pull-ups before I got here, so maybe that has something to do with it.
I often say you have the body of a young Jim Fix.
That is very true. That's why on X they call me a fitness influencer. Having said that,
you call you a fitness influencer. X does not call you a fitness influencer.
It's on X.
Oh, then it must be real.
It's on the internet, so it has to be true.
Where are you with this?
So right off the bat, I noticed for me anyway, and I actually cut it a little deeper than I normally would. The draw is a little tight. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they did anything wrong. I'm getting bits of like cedar, maybe some hay. I'm not getting really any sweetness at this point, but I literally started smoking this about 4 minutes ago. So
what's interesting is I thought I did a shallow cut and I came straight across. Let me see where you. Yeah, you did too.
Yeah.
That's a very shallow cap. So the cap is where you cut from and the foot is where you light from. And so the cap end, it usually has a little bit of buildup to it, mounding up and rounding out. Now you could have a torpedo or something else, a figurado that has a different, of course, point to it. But this is is nothing special. It's exactly what you would expect. Yeah, that cuts straight across. And there is a unique spice on that.
Oh.
I'm
not getting anything like that.
I think the spice is coming from the wood.
Okay.
I think that's what that is. There's also, are you getting an underneath chocolate there?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
It's either fantastic or I'm having a stroke. One or the other. I'll tell you, it's not playing like a Connecticut. It's not playing overly creamy or anything like that. It's you would expect maybe a little bit of wood depending on the Connecticut. This is hitting me with a rich deep wood spice almost, and it's hitting me with a little bit of a kind of a cocoa or bittersweet chocolate. Maybe it's a coffee bean.
That's nice for me at this point. It's just that wood and maybe a hay combo, and I will say it's very mild. But we just lit this. I had to cut this twice because I was worried about that draw, and now by the cap I'm doing the old pinch and roll.
Oh, a little tight. I also have a stick there.
Okay.
That if you want to poke it, so we actually sell these. We had them made for us, and so some people like to put it in to the nub of their cigar so they can really smoke the last little bits, so you're not burning your fingers. And then you can also use it to create some gaps, maybe create a little airflow in the cap end to get a better draw. This is the Room 101 Farce, or is it Farce? This is the Connecticut Super Toro. Now, I would ask Fingers Malloy, is this in your humidor for $12.40 a stick? We don't know yet.
We don't know.
That is a very, very unique flavor. This is also a 6-month aged cigar. Pretty interesting. I would like to know more about that, if that is something separate that's done and how that aging is done. This is not a new smoke. This is a cigar that came out for the then ICPCR, which is now the PCA, the cigar show for wholesalers and retailers, I should say, in 2018. So this has got 8 years of pedigree to it. And I'm telling you, that's a weird, unique, robust for a Connecticut flavor. And I do not think this is mild. This is coming in. This is clocking medium.
Wow. I will say that if I'm going to pull my jump to conclusions mat out right now, early on, I could totally see starting my day off with this on the back porch with a steaming hot cup of joe. But who knows what as I get into the first third of the cigar, if that opinion will change or not.
We have had the 15-year, right? We had a different Room 101. I can't remember what it is. And I would still take both of those over this at this moment. But we got a lot of cigar to smoke left. Keep it here. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. So Fingers Malloy has a story about Goodwill. And I don't know about where others live. But when I moved to Indiana, and so I would say certainly before that, broke, Goodwill mattered quite a bit. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy right there. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. I didn't know that here, because we're in the Indianapolis area. That's where we broadcast from. And people utilize Goodwill on the regular.
Oh, yeah.
Not because of an economic situation, but because people donate insane crap to their Goodwill. Like stuff with the label still on it. I mean, with the tag still on it. Stuff that's designer. It's insane, Fingers. And my wife still, to this day, Goodwill. She can't get herself out of the, hey, we were really, really broke, and I'm not going back to that, which I'm extremely thankful for. I'm a lucky, fortunate man in that regard. But every now and again, and she taught the kids this, and they thrift, and they come home with deals like, check this out. It's like, holy crap. Still, it's amazing, although the deals aren't as plentiful as they used to be.
Well, hesitate to say this because it's a total Grandpa Simpson moment, but going to totally sound like an old here. But the kids love to thrift. And because the kids love to thrift, Goodwill is one of the main spots that they thrift at. And we've got the story here about, it's the first of the year, and you know how people have New Year's resolutions, and one of them is, hey, I got to get organized and clean stuff out, and the things that people are willing and wanting to donate. I can't believe some of the things that Goodwill says, hey, can you do us a solid and not donate this?
So you've got this list. It's over at the US Sun, the-sun.com. Baby furniture, cribs, strollers, high chairs, car seats, changing tables, baby walkers, bassinets cannot be donated. Now, car seats I get, and I don't know if I believe it. There's a whole theory that a car seat donated, you don't know what happened to it, you don't know if it had been in an accident, you don't know if it still has its structural integrity, and so therefore they can't sell it because they've got a liability issue if they do.
Cribs are the same way.
Cribs are the same way?
Yeah. I don't, for a lack of a better term, there's an expiration date. A crib can only be so old before a thrift shop or a secondhand shop will be able to sell it.
But if you bought a crib, aren't you inspecting it and checking it and making sure all the screws are there and everything else?
It's not that important, is it? It's just your newborn. Yes, of course. Of course.
Oh, my newborn. Oh, no, I would never do a used crib. Somebody else, well, hey, I never liked that kid anyway.
But, of course, but, it's funny. You went there. The beginning of the piece where it says, what is off limits? As a general rule, items that are wet, mildewed, or moldy should not be donated to Goodwill. They put that in print.
Wet? Hold on, I want to make sure I've got the list.
Mm-hmm.
Wet.
Yes.
Mildewed.
Uh-huh.
Moldy.
Apparently they reject that sort of thing.
They've rejected wet.
Yes.
Mildewed.
Mm-hmm.
Moldy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess I can't donate Ron Jeremy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. But luckily, fortunately for you out there, if it's musty, they may take it.
So, and they had on this list food items. Who the hell is donating food?
Okay. I will say this.
Oh, holy hell.
So my mother-in-law has a snowbird place in Florida.
Yeah, she does.
And
Party Central.
Yes, it's not the Villages. Having said that, across...
She loves pineapples.
Across this... Oh.
Loves pineapples.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you? Having said that, across the street from her neighborhood, 3 times a week, they have these huge flea markets. That just resembles a traveling Goodwill. Right. The amount of food out there, the personal hygiene products that's just out on a poker table in 95-degree heat and Florida humidity, that people are like, oh, wow, I could save 30 cents on that deodorant. Forget the fact that half of it's melted.
Whoa. You elitist snob bastard. If someone wants to buy flea market table fruit, which was weirdly the name of my band in college.
There it is.
If I had not laughed being able to say that line would have been so great. Flea market table fruit. That's going in our script. That we have to write a love story. We need to be making movies, Fingers.
I thought we were going to do Eat, Drink, Smoke, the musical.
So I think they should be allowed to. I have no problem with that. I was asking about donating food to a Goodwill. You know that's not what you do.
Until someone buys the Goodwill food that they have no way to inspect to make sure it wasn't really tampered with. They don't have experts working at Goodwill looking specifically for that stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see where our miscommunication is. I don't believe in licensing. If you want to
they're real. Licenses exist.
Well, okay. You win this round. If you want to eat flea market table fruit, I don't want to stop you. And if you die, you die.
By the way, I love how this turned into flea market table fruit when I was talking about deodorant. and somehow you latched onto
If
fruit.
you want to buy flea market deodorant, table deodorant,
Oh, I agree with you there.
and then break out into a rash full of pussy discharge and infection, that's your problem.
Listen, I came really close to buying a bottle of Canoe cologne.
Canoe.
I'm telling you, and people do this. Tony,
Right?
I like to monitor social media outrage.
Is there social media outrage?
No, but the other thing I like to monitor are influencers.
Ah,
There are flea market influencers, Tony.
I'm just done with you.
They go to flea markets, have their flea market finds, and some of the stuff. I mean, when you're walking by a table and it has deodorant right next to a ColecoVision, you've struck gold.
First of all, ColecoVision. Canoe and ColecoVision. How old is Fingers Malloy? Send in your submissions on Twitter X to Go Eat, Drink, Smoke. Go Eat, Drink, Smoke. Oh, really quick. We realized something, that we have been making a terrible mistake. We have a couple of people who have won cigars from us. And somehow, I thought they were sent out. And somehow Fingers has been saying to me, hey, we need to send these out, which I've taken as, hey, we sent these out. We didn't. We suck. We apologize. This is happening. You are getting your stuff. You have backed to the right horse with Eat, Drink, Smoke. We are just slow and somewhat dumb.
And we can guarantee this. Those cigars, when you get them, they will not be wet, mildewed, or moldy.
But they will come with table fruit. Honestly, we're going to have to send people like a fruit basket. Like how delayed are we? Like months.
It's been a tick.
I am a scumbag. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
The giveaway was in June of 2021.
Did I mention how sorry I am? Keep it here. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke, your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. You find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com, the new and improved site, because Fingers Malloy has been working tirelessly at it with a team of engineers scattered across the globe to bring you the finest in Eat, Drink, Smoke information.
I'm tired.
We're smoking the Room 101 Farce, or is it Farce? This is the Connecticut Super Toro 6x56. I will admit, it is really is a very, very, it feels like a delicate wrapper. It is smooth. It is oily. It's really, really interesting. That color is that very, very pale, almost tea. That to me is naturally an unappealing color in my cigar. As for how the cigar is smoking, it started with like a bittersweet chocolate, a cocoa, was it a coffee? And it started with this big, big plume of wood spice. Everything has mellowed. And for a moment there, you thought you had a draw issue, felt you had a draw issue. I felt like maybe something was up. I know my humidor has been very wonky as of late. Because I'm staying calm, because I'm not trying to oversmoke it, I'm slowing down. Everything has gone all right, man. This is going quite all right.
Is that a struggle for you? To
So-
slow down?
True story. True story. I have what are called the yips.
Mm.
It started about 2 months ago. You know what the yips are? The yips in sports. Fingers Malloy, do you want to explain what the yips are? Can you explain what the yip is? Or do you want me to do it? I'll do it.
I will let you go ahead and explain what the yips are, because to me, I equate it to a golf term where you're standing over a 3-foot putt and you can't quite make it happen, and then you rush through it and then you miss.
The yips are when you forget to do the basics. You just flat out you don't remember what you're doing. You're like, what's happening? It's the movie Tin Cup, talk about golfing, and Kevin Costner's wearing all the gear, and it's trying to how you get the shot and everything. All of a sudden, I forgot how to smoke a cigar. Everything was plugging up. It's been going on for months. I'm like, am I really smoking that fast? And then one of my kids observed that I'm smoking a lot while I'm working. And so therefore, I'm not in the right rhythm. And so I think between some issues with the humidor about humidification and temperature, because I have an electric humidor, in cold weather, and because of its placement, which is in the corner near two exposed walls, that maybe that's having a real effect on the cigars. I can't move it. There's no place I can move that to in the studio. That makes dude, we're gonna rearrange the whole studio. You want to rearrange the whole studio? I
want Tony Katz to be happy.
Well,
That's
what
all
are the
I care about? That's all. I wake up thinking, what will make Tony happy? And I know what will make Tony happy. Being able to walk to his humidor, grab a cigar, and have absolutely no issues with that cigar because there's perfect humidification going on in that.
I'm here to tell you right now, there is no way to make me happy. I don't even know what happiness is sometimes. And I think that humidification is happiness. I think that might be because I'm overthinking it. Like I'm overthinking the cigar thing and the yips. So I just need to slow down a little bit. And I think it's all right. What you want to do with this cigar is grab it and grab your notebooks. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? If this is the first time you're doing your notebook in 2026, great, new notebook. And then what did you eat? What did you drink? What is the weather? Bitter, stupid, embarrassing cold in Indianapolis, Indiana. Not fun. Winning a national championship, fun. Can I get a little?
Oh, yeah. Hoosier pride starts inside.
Hoosiers defeating the Miami Hurricanes, or as Fingers Malloy would say, the evil Miami Hurricanes.
That's not true.
27-21.
We love Miami, and we love all of Florida.
Oh, my God. Look at you. You think people listening in Florida are going to say, because I call them the evil Miami Hurricanes, that, oh my gosh, that's Tony Katz. We're not listening to Eat, Drink, Smoke anymore?
Yes, that's Tony Katz. Fingers Malloy, on the other hand, would say to America, what can I do to put you in a Florida today?
Then you take the cigar and you break it up into thirds. First third, second third, final third. Just break it up in your mind, like cut it into thirds. What are the flavors you get out of each third? Write those down. When you try the cigar a month from now, 6 months from now, whatever it is, you do it again. And then you compare your notes. You kind of get your through line. Like, what are the flavors that you really got from this? And then you can get an idea of, okay, this kind of wrapper, this kind of binder, these kinds of flavors. Then you can start finding what really your palate is into and what you enjoy. $12.50 a stick, Fingers Malloy.
I'm in. I'm enjoying it. The only thing that I'm having an issue with, I still have that flavor profile. There's a cedar. There's going back between cedar and hay. And a little bit of a creamy sweetness, and that's about it. I'm not getting that.
The cocoa's gone. That bitter is gone. Whether it's coffee or whatever it was, I don't have a good answer there. I am getting a little bit of an uneven burn. Not yet a canoeing. So canoeing is what happens when on just one side of the cigar, even though it's round, you get that's where the burn is happening. And it's not happening on the other side. So you get this what would look like a canoe. So sometimes you want to take your lighter and just even it off. Sometimes you realize that an area has gotten too hot. It's kind of plugged up, and you just got to slow down, maybe put it down for a little while. Let it go, and then come back and ash it off. I think you're okay, Fingers.
Yeah, the only issue I have is with the tight draw, and it could just be this particular cigar.
Yeah. Remember that a cigar is rolled by hand. And because of that, sometimes a cigar could be tighter or it could be looser. It has nothing to do with anything other than that can happen. Now, if you have the same cigar a few times and you have this issue, then maybe it's just rolled in a way you don't like, or okay, that, I should actually keep that. It's rolled in a way you don't like, that cigar's not for you, which is totally fine.
It should never feel like work.
God, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. I'm a maybe on this cigar. In my humidor, that initial fragrance and taste was too much. It was just so much happening. This has turned into a very nice cigar, though. I just don't know if I want to fight through the first part for the second part. And there are other Room 101s that I've had much more pleasurable enjoyment from right from the start. But Room 101, I'm glad we're doing it. Fingers Malloy, it is time for news of the week.
Remember
of the week. That's our new thing for 2026.
Oh, wow. Remember, it was a simpler time, Tony, when people were talking about GameStop and their stock.
Oh, sure.
Well, there's some bad news in GameStop land. The announcement was made that 470 GameStop stores are closing in the United States by the end of January.
Is that right?
Yes.
How is my pets.com stock doing?
Let me see here. You know what? I'm looking it up right now. Wall Street Journal.
All right. Now check. I also own TWA.
Oh, let me check that too.
And Enron. So how's my Enron doing right there? I stole that joke from Fingers Malloy, by the way. Stole it. He's been doing that routine for years. He was doing that routine since before Enron went under. And also, ask your grandparents about Enron.
Yeah. I tweeted that out once, and I had 2 people very angry with me. I lost a lot of money on Enron. It's not funny.
It was a little funny. So what was the story about again?
470 locations, GameStop closing by the end of the month.
Dude, people, don't they download games? All games are downloaded now.
You would think.
It's all ball bearings.
But, and let me speculate wildly here for a second.
I only wish you would. There
are some people, like the vinyl folks, when it comes to music, they want to get the records. Maybe some people go to this. Do they still sell discs for
CDs?
Games?
Oh, no.
For games? I mean,
no.
How do you buy a game? Well, what does GameStop sell then?
Well, it comes on a card.
Oh, a card.
And then it connects to the internet. So the point is you can download all the games.
Oh.
That's where you're doing it.
What an age we live in. See, when I bought video games, they came in a nice little cartridge. And every once in a while, it would get dusted. You'd have to blow the dust out and then put it into the Atari 2600.
It was a simple time. Playing Combat on your Atari 2600, Space Invaders. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Those were the days. Eat, drink, smoke. And in a story that nobody needed told to them, the CEO of Amazon wants you to know that the tariffs have started to creep into prices. Who didn't know this?
I got nothing.
Tea, drink, smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That's America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Tariffs, which are a tax, they have been put on by this administration to try and equalize what they see as a trade imbalance. There is real conversation about whether or not this does or does not work. While the administration can clearly state that the tariffs have not contributed to inflation, the inflation hasn't left, by the way. It just has not gone on an explosion as many economists thought tariffs would do, which is very, very interesting. It's because there's so much else happening on the other side of this economy. There's still buying going on, which is quite incredible. But of course, tariffs increase prices. This is not debate that we're doing here. I'm not going to argue with anybody on a fundamental. If you tell me that a good gets a tariff of 20%, so there's a 20% additional cost, that cost is paid for by me, not by the business. It's paid for by you, not by the business. So this was over at CNBC, where the CEO, who is not Jeff Bezos was the founder. It's a guy by the name of Andy Jassy, saying that the prices are in there. And what had happened was what many people did. They bought as much as they could before the tariffs came. And then they held off on accepting any shipments until they had a better understanding of what the tariff landscape looked like. And that's why you saw a lot of things that were plentiful and then gone. And they were gone because people didn't reorder because the tariffs were there and they weren't sure whether are they going to pay an extra 30% this month, but only pay an extra 12% next month. And now what do they do about what they just spent an extra 30% on? How do they get their money back from it? So there's this massive back and forth that took place. But are we pretending that things don't cost more than they used to on a whole series of goods? Never mind other things that aren't goods like insurance and other stuff.
I think some people are. Yeah, I'm so torn on the tariff thing because I do think that certain things need to be addressed as far as making better trade deals with countries that may have been taking advantage of us.
Right.
But then other tariffs were introduced on countries' goods that we were like, where's this coming from? We had no idea this was going to happen. And at the end of the day, when you start doing that, it does feel like it's going to put some pressure, obviously, on companies to raise prices because they're going to pass it on to the consumer. It's a little surprising to me, and I wonder if it is because, fuel prices have come down so much. Transportation costs maybe not as much as they were previously, that maybe that's canceled some of what potential price increases from tariffs that would have hit otherwise.
Right. If you're saving on a gallon of gas, which you are, you have the money to be able to afford whatever the tariff price increase is. By the way, this whole thing about buying Greenland?
Yes.
Or getting angry about taking Greenland and everything else. Earlier this week, Trump said, well, we're going to put tariffs on all these European nations until they agree to work with us that the United States will control Greenland. And then the Dow went down 870 points. And I'm telling you, by the time people hear this, the Dow will have recouped that and be up 240. At least that's what's happened. When there have been these big drops because of something happening in the administration or something happening in government, you give it 3 days, you give it a week and 3 days, everything's back. The market's at record highs. It seems impervious to all of it. But your point matters. What you talked about gas prices, which I believe is a major one. Off the top of your head, because we didn't go over this. We barely go over the show before we do it. That's not true. We have plans and we have scripting and we do rehearsals and there's choreography.
Because if we didn't plan this, it would show.
Right. What are the three? What are the three things that Americans need to see lower prices on before they say, you know what, we're going to be all right? I put forth to you the gas prices as one of them. Boom. Mm-hmm. What are the other two?
I would say automobiles and food, specifically beef.
Okay. Beef was 1,000% in my head. Autoblog states that the average price of a new car right now is $50,000. How? We go back to this conversation. We've had this conversation. $1,000 a month car payments. I'm in the market. Don't ask. I'm in the market. And I know what I want. And I looked and I said, I'm not getting that. I can afford it. Mm-hmm. That I can afford it doesn't mean I should afford it. Because if I have a $1,000 a month car payment, I will be so angry at myself, I won't know what to do. I can't do it. And then I start looking at used stuff and I get lost at where people think valuations are. And is that really $10,000? Wait, why would that one with just 1-2 tweaks is now $20,000? And the next thing you know, something I would want is $33,000, 7 years old. And I immediately fall down into the fetal position and wet myself.
Yeah.
Yes, you do, Tony.
Yes. Well, I agree because, I've got a daughter that has turned 16 and I'm going to have to get a car for her. And it wouldn't have been too long ago, I would have thought to myself, well, I'll get her a 8 to 10-year-old used car that maybe will have hopefully less than 100,000 miles on it. And I'll spend $8,000 or $9,000 and forget about that. I'm looking at 10-year-old used domestic sedans, and if they're under 100,000 miles, it's $15,000-$16,000. It's like, wait, I gotta. People are forced to finance, 10-year-old vehicles, $15,000. It's insane what prices are.
So how do those prices go down? Right? What the administration has said, and by the way, I don't care what anybody feels about Trump, like him, don't like him, that's up to you. We're talking about reality. This is the Trump administration. There are things that are happening. They want to reduce emissions standards. And by doing that, reduce the price of vehicles. Now, that brings about an interesting conversation, which I know you talk about, which is CAFE standards and how we've put these onerous and call it an unreachable and irresponsible kind of standards or positions on car companies to reach. Well, that stuff's going to cost because you're throwing all this crap at them. How can you even begin to get mad at them? Does a regulation reduction really make a difference?
Here's the problem. Even if it's on a federal level, you have states that are putting regulations in place where automotive manufacturers say to themselves, well, I have to meet these state standards. It's not like, you're baking cookies and you just, okay, this is the batch for California. This is a batch for Massachusetts.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult to meet these standards. And a lot of times, these standards are being put in place by bureaucrats who have never stepped foot in an auto factory, have no idea what it is how complex it is to be able to start with some sheet metal and at the end of the assembly line have a safe vehicle. And then you mentioned the emissions stuff. I have 2 cars right now that have check engine lights on, and I run my scanner. It has something to do with emissions that, 20 years ago, these things wouldn't even be on a car. 30 years ago. Now, I'm not saying that I want cars to, pollute the air. And it's great to have more efficient cars, but the more and more things you throw on auto manufacturers to put in a vehicle, the more expensive it's going to be.
So is the reduction of emission standards the way to reduce the price of cars, or something else? How do you reduce the price of a car?
By eliminating a lot of the things that are mandatory. I'll give you one example quickly. It's the backup. Make sure that you turn around.
Don't have your kid in the back seat.
Yeah, and then the backup cameras and all this other stuff. That all adds up. It's nickel and diming American consumers, forcing them to buy things on a car that they don't necessarily need.
Keep it here. Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media, on Twitter @Go Eat, Drink, Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke, and Instagram @Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast. Hey, you made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.